The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Today, we're breaking down the film from Dante Moore and Tai Simpson in their latest performances in the college football playoff. Why would we do a film review about the Jets? They stink. Joe Blewett's going to join us. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started.
A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go. Show number 1 on the day and the only one. That's because I spent 4 hours with this guy earlier today. Can't wait. Bart Scott and I did some radio earlier. Big shout out to all the Asmaniacs who tuned in, watched on the ESPN New York YouTube channel. I'm doing morning radio now every single day until January 2nd. So starting tomorrow, start your day with me and Jordan Renan. We're in for DiPietro and Rothenberg from 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. I'm still planning on doing a YouTube show tomorrow after I get done with morning radio. So it might be Christmas Eve, but we're still going to give you content on the channel. And then, of course, make sure you check in on the Discord and stay tuned when we're going to be doing shows because the schedule will be a little different to accommodate for the fact that I'm doing so much radio over the next week and a half. With that, we say hello to our guy, Joe Blewett, who's kind enough to join us, and he's in the holiday spirit. Joe, happy Christmas Eve.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You stole the words out of my mouth, so I hope everybody has a good holiday. Like you said, who wants to watch the Jets right now? So let's watch some college quarterback film and discuss them. I'm excited. Let's
do it. Before we get into that, I mean, just give us your brief thoughts on the debacle in New Orleans. Did you even do a film review on your own channel yet, Joe? I mean, if you watched the film, what stood out? Did you notice anything different with the defense going from Wilkes to Harris for this game? I mean, it was 9-6 at halftime. Break it down what you saw.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was really bad. I got like 50 plays I got to do, unfortunately, right after this, but it's not great. The only thing I noticed a little bit more, it seems like I don't chart stuff. I'm not like a stats guy. I don't have like a subscription to PFF or anything like that. So I don't know the actual statistics, but it seems like they had a little bit more cover 2 looks in this game, a little bit more zone. They rotated a little bit more, like post snap, they rolled into certain coverages, so a little bit more disguise. I would say the communication between the linebackers and stuff was a little bit better, which kind of indicates that, hey, Steve Wilkes was a big problem with that because they did pick up stuff a little bit better, but overall they still sucked on defense, right? Like at the end of the day, 9-6 halftime, but Tyler Shuck had 200-ish yards, right?
I thought that was Drew Brees. You mean to tell me that wasn't Drew Brees I was watching?
Yeah, man. We knew in the second half that they were going to light up the offense and all this stuff. This 4-win team that we just got blown out by 19 points to, with Taysom Hill dunking on us at the end with a long ball to Olave, with Malachi Moore blew a coverage horrifically on that play. But defense was not great. I've been super disappointed in JJ. Like he's had a few plays here and there, but I know he's coming off the injury, but he's been pretty much absent in most of these games. So defense was really disappointing. And then the offense, man, like I don't love Engstrand's game plan. There were some plays I've questioned that I'll bring up in my review. But Brady Cooks, I would say at least 5 or 6 of those sacks were just purely on him, where Engstrand gave him a hot route and he just did not hit it. There's one play they overload the right so heavily that I think literally anybody would notice, like, hey, there's something going on to the right side here. And he had 3 routes going on to that side with Breece Hall wide open in the flat, never looks at it, gets sacked. I'm like, dude, like basic 101 stuff that Cook was struggling with this game. So first 2 games minus the stats, I was actually like somewhat impressed for UDFA. He was horrific in this game, from just missing easy balls to taking sacks, not getting rid of the ball, not noticing stuff pre-snap. It was really, really ugly all around.
I mean, are you surprised then, just based on what you saw, they are giving him another start against the Patriots Sunday? We're presented by FanDuel.
Yeah.
Jets, 12.5-point underdogs against New England. I mean, it's clear they're not doing everything in their power to win at this point, but was it so bad in your eyes that they almost have to go to Tyrod? Or do you think that, look, what does it matter? Just stick with them for another week.
Yeah, the latter, right? Like, at this point, who cares? Obviously, you're not playing Fields because of his phantom injury, aka, he just wants to get out of here and get into free agency healthy. And then Tyrod, at this point, he's better than Cook, but he's not been great this season either. So why not evaluate the young guy and see if you have a quarterback 3, at this point next year? So I think that's really it. Just lose. I don't think they're trying to. I don't think they're trying to actively lose, but I don't think they're actively trying to win either with the Cook move. So why not, like I said, why not evaluate him? Quarterback 3 or not. That's kind of what he's fighting for. I think quarterback 2 at this point, like, it's possible, obviously, but he can't do anything in the next 2 games to prove to me he's quarterback 2. So I think he's fighting for his life to be rostered next year.
Look, Joe, here's the message from Aaron Glenn to you.
Just don't let go of the rope.
All right, don't let go.
The rope is not letting go of me, Jake, unfortunately. So it's spun there. The Jets are hanging us all figuratively. So yeah, I don't know how it's been this bad for this long, but hopefully it changes with the way that Glenn's been coaching and what we've seen so far this season. I'm not confident it will, but we deserve it more than literally any other fan base in the NFL. I think it was Ross Tucker this week said something like that. I don't know if it was on broadcast or post-broadcast or whatever. He was like, Jets fans deserve something because of how dedicated we are and stuff. And I'm going to the game on Sunday like a complete jackass because it's the last game of the year. And dude, tickets are like $100.
Tickets? Do you need any tickets? Do you have tickets?
I don't want to take it away from somebody who really needs it. So you give that to somebody, unless somebody does not need it at all, you give it to them. If you're searching for somebody to give it to, fine. But it's not like I need the tickets. You know what I'm saying? So, but the tickets are like $100, which is crazy. I guess Pats fans are just going to flood MetLife Stadium.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
But they're all expensive. I asked my friend, I'm like, hey, can we just sit up at the very highest level so I don't have to deal with any Pats fans?
You're sitting field level, Joe Blewett. In honor of you coming on the show and having to watch every Jets game and break down film on a 3-12, soon to be 3-14 team, I got your tickets for Sunday. Jets Pats. God bless you for wanting to go. We're making it happen.
Oh my God! All right, yeah, that is awesome, man. I really, I obviously, I appreciate that. You should go get your Santa hat because you're in a giving mood.
Yeah, I would love for the Jets to give us a winning season, but hey, maybe. How's this for a transition? You ready? Maybe if they draft Tai Simpson or Dante Moore, that could happen, huh? We're gonna break down the film on their playoff performances from over the weekend. And by the way, what's very exciting now, we're going to get a matchup in the next round of the college football playoff, the Rose Bowl. It's going to feature Fernando Mendoza in Indiana against Tai Simpson in Alabama. So we get to see the 2 quarterbacks go head-to-head, 2 of the 3 consensus top guys go head-to-head. And then there's Dante Moore, of course, at Oregon. Bob Wischusen was on the call for that one on Saturday, and Louis Riddick made a sly comment during the broadcast. Hey, wouldn't Dante Moore look good in a different shade of green, Bob? So a lot of Jet QB talk is happening here. But Joe, whenever you're ready, we'll break down the film. You pick the QB we start with, man. You know both these guys very well. Would you rather start with Ty or start with Dante?
I just threw it in the chat, and of course, Tank for Ty is the first one to respond with Simpson first. So we'll go with Simpson first. But it seems like now, and hold on, I'll just pull up my screen a little bit or organize it. But it seems like now Simpson is kind of getting back into the conversation in terms of the top quarterbacks. It still does seem like most people are saying Mendoza or Moore and not mentioning Simpson, but he's kind of getting back into that conversation again because of one game, but you need to take into totality what's going on with these guys. And again, Simpson's still towards the top for me, and I know for some other people he is as well. And by the way, people, I am using a mouse now, so if you can hear like a clicking, just let me know that it's a pain in the ass. You can hear it, and then I'll transition to the pad. But nonetheless, we'll go with Simpson first. Can you see the screen, Jake?
Yes,
I don't have anything up. Okay.
So I'm going to pull it up in a second. I do want to remind people that we're pushing back the raffle this week because of the holidays. I don't have a concrete date for it just yet, but make sure you guys enter. It will be probably Friday this week. We'll extend it to Friday, a little football Friday. Nick Mangold signed football. We'll do it after Christmas, which is Thursday. We also have a signed Joe Klecko, Mark Gastineau, Abdul Salam, and of course, Marty Lyon, Sack Exchange football, and a Vinny Testaverde signed jersey. Plus, end of this show, Let's do a giveaway. Jets Legends jersey. That's right. Someone could get a Jets jersey this holiday season that you won't be embarrassed to wear. Joe Namath, Joe Klecko, Curtis Martin, Wayne Corbett, Darrell Revis, the late great Nick Mangold, and of course Keyshawn Johnson. And if you want, maybe I'll send you the Bart Scott jersey I wore when I wore it with Bart earlier today. But Jets jersey, Jets Legends jersey of your choosing, we'll raffle that away at the end of the show. Gift the membership to your fellow Asmaniac, or send in a $5 super chat or higher, and we will count it. Big shout out to Mother Effin' Chew, who became a channel member. He is in the raffle for one. All right, Mr. Blewett, let's get to some Tai Simpson film from the playoff win of Alabama against Oklahoma Friday night.
Yeah. And last week I picked out of like 100 different plays. So some of them were a little bit more pretty or not pretty. They really emphasized points. This one's obviously just all the plays I recorded from these games. So usually about in a game, I record, anywhere from like 8 to 15 plays. I think I got 9 or 10 for each of these guys, which we'll run through, pretty quickly, but again, like who wants to watch Jets film? So at least we can go through the college football playoffs and watch some of these guys and see if they are deserving of our first round picks, trading up, trading back, whatever it may be. Some people saying Simpson's going to be in the second round, I think is beyond a wild take to me, but nonetheless, so this one's just his ability on the move that we'll see, and I'll play it through first. He's around it's just a sail concept. We're gonna have a vertical, a intermediate sail route, and then you're gonna have a flat route. You can read this short to deep. Some people do, depending on the situation and the coverage, but mostly it's going to be the vertical to the intermediate to the flat. And this is just a ball that you're just going to see his ability to put balls in really good spots on the move while getting chased. And it's not even complete. It's a ball that the receiver would really need to make a nice play to catch the ball. But in terms of the location of the ball, getting away from a defender chasing him, and I'll pause it at the end here for the location. If the receiver were to toe tap right here, this is a ball at NFL level, a good receiver, if he were to be aware of the sideline and there wasn't a guy maybe right on his tail, on his heel, that he could gear down here and catch this ball. And again, you're talking about Simpson getting chased, and he probably would. So he's going to read, again, vertical, and he's going to read the sail route right here. And he's probably thinking that he wants to throw the sail route right here. Unfortunately, there's a rusher in his face, which Alabama, again, everybody assumes like he has so much help because he's on Alabama. He easily has the least help around him versus Mendoza and Moore. When you watch them consistently, that he has the most pressure. He doesn't have plays schemed up for him as much. There's not a lot of yak. There's not a lot of running games. So he's in a disadvantageous position as compared to Moore and Mendoza. But probably going to throw this free rusher in his face. Has to get rid of him, work away from him. Now this guy's on his tail, and this is the throwing window that he sees, and he puts the ball again on a dot on the move to the sideline, and a ball that is catchable. It's not an easy catch for a receiver at the NFL level, but you're hoping a Garrett Wilson level player or anything like, or NFL receiver could make that catch potentially. So again, not a completion, but you see it there. Like, hey, this dude's athleticism and that location of that ball with that zip is very impressive, at least in my opinion. So again, I don't just like watch, look at the stats and be like, oh, it's an incompletion, it's a bad play. To me, that's an impressive play to me. This one's a really easy one. This is just kind of proving a point that, like, whether it be no running game, whether it be receivers drops, which we'll see in a couple of minutes, and then we'll go to Dante Moore and see some of the catches that his receivers are making for him, or just receivers just like straight falling down. So I'm not even breaking anything down here. There's just nothing open to the right, pressure in his face, pretty much immediately, and then you're gonna see him roll out to his left, and it's just a situation where scramble drill, his receiver just falls down. Sometimes it's just kind of how it is for Simpson at Alabama at times, and does a good job here. Obviously, just keeping his eyes down the field. He also he adjusts his arm angle here as well, side arming it just so he doesn't throw it over the top and potentially get it picked. And his receiver just falls on his face.
Oh, he's ready to be a Jet, man. How many times have we seen a Jet receiver just do something like that?
Well, at least he won't be flustered because he's used to it, right? But like this is just the point where, like, if you don't actually watch the games and study the games, then you see, oh, incompletion here. It's like, oh, it's Simpson's fault. Are you sure it's always Simpson's fault? Because This is some of the stuff that's happening to him. I'm not saying guys are just falling on their face immediately or anything like that, but like this is happening relatively consistently with Simpson. Now, this is a play that I don't love the pocket presence here. I don't love the footwork and how he drifts into the pocket and he kind of takes away from his base. So these guys run like these two guys at the top run like a switch release, and he reads those two guys first, and then he gets to the deeper corner right here, and they're showing man coverage. So this route's definitely one that you could hit. So we're going to see him read these two guys first. He doesn't like anything. He gets to the third, which is running like a deep corner sail route, and he throws the ball. Unfortunately, I believe this is completed, but I don't love the footwork from him. Okay, yeah, so it's a little bit underthrown. So general accuracy, fine. He hits him, but I would like to see a little bit more easiness in the pocket and delivering that ball. And then maybe he leads him. Maybe he turns it up the field for more. Obviously, there's a potential of that, but I want to see more easiness in the pocket, right? So he's reading this. He has a relatively clean pocket, or he has a clean pocket here. There's really not much reason for him to then get to the bottom of his drop and then start to slide to the left because he has a pretty clean pocket. So then instead of stepping into the throw, we can see that his base is even right here. So there's really not a lot of force generated from the hips, and it's just going to be a straight arm throw. That's probably why it's underthrown a little bit. So just in terms of the easiness in the pocket, I would like to see him. You could shuffle, like if you want to shuffle a little bit, just because you're feeling some like phantom pressure, even if you're seeing a little pressure, you could do that. But then you want to step up and drive towards your target instead of like stepping in the bucket or shuffling, and then again not getting your full body into the throw. And then it's a situation where good reads, you came off of it, you saw the outside leverage versus inside leverage DB here, and you hit him, but better throw, maybe more yardage here. So yeah, he hits him, but again, I'm typically very critical because you have to be for these quarterbacks in a situation like that. You don't want to just see him drifting and sliding in the pocket when really there is no reason to. So next play, this is a play of like just the aggression that he has and him not necessarily just taking the easy stuff. So they run a Texas concept here where you're going to have like a seam or a bender from the attached tight end right here, and then you're going to have the angle route from the running back in the backfield. And you're typically going to read the seam to the angle, and the angle is wide open. But what he sees here is this linebacker not matching and starting to like drift to the outside. So he knows that he could hit this as long as these safeties start to gain some depth, which they do. It looks like we just got like off the jump, it looks like a 3 robber. Yeah, it looks like a 3 robber. So with 3, you're going to have the seam open. And again, like, a quarterback who's very safe would just, the angle route right here, it's wide open. There's a linebacker underneath of the bender of the seam route right here. But just because Simpson's confident in his reads here, like he knows, you can see the anticipation here because he's not past his level yet. He decides to throw the ball there, but what he sees is that linebacker right there is drifting to the outside, and he knows that versus cover 3, this area of the field is going to be open. So instead of just taking the angle, again, he hits that bender, that seam route, which it's simple, but it's very nice to see that like, hey, he's confident in his reads and he's going to hit that. So an awesome job by him hitting that Texas concept and reading it very well. So. Next.
Would you say that he's improved as a processor throughout the year? Like, what went wrong in your opinion when he had that slump when people seem to be out on him versus like now people like him again because of this performance?
Yeah, to me, it's just like he wasn't getting, and it's part of it's his fault too. And I think he was feeling the pressure of the situation he's in, right? Like the receivers aren't helping him, the run game's not helping him. There's no yak, all of that stuff. And then you feel the pressure. Like he hears the noise. He knows he's a top 5 to 10 pick, and I think he started to press a little bit. He started to rush. He started to go for the big play instead of just taking the easy stuff, the first read that's open. Instead, he was going for a little bit more. Again, maybe because he was feeling that pressure. So I think it was partially just the pressure he was feeling. I think it was his team not helping him. I think he got into his head a little bit, but it's not like he's a really good processor. Like if you say he's not a good processor, you're going to see it in this one that he just gets to his reads very quickly. So I think he just hit a slump maybe because of the situation, because of the lack of help around him. Like there was definitely a few plays every game where he would have wanted it back, whether it be accuracy or skipping the first read or being uneasy in the pocket. But I do think in general, people tended to overrate how bad he was because again, like we looked at last week, that Mills concept where he hits the backside post, it's a 45-yard touchdown, 50-yard touchdown, whatever it is, maybe 40-yard touchdown, but the receiver stops running, but nobody's going to take that into account because nobody actually really watches. Let's just be real.
I just want you to know, by the way, as you're breaking down Tai Simpson, we have Oregon Jets, who is clearly a Oregon / Jet fan who loves Dante Moore. He goes, Simpson's 5 years older than Moore. And then Tank for Ty, who's the biggest Tai Simpson truther we have on the show. You're a liar, Oregon Jets. He's only 3 years older. So there's already a war between Simpson and Moore in the chat. And we haven't even gotten to the Fernando Mendoza, Fernando Max, who, or whatever term we're going to call the Fernando people who want him as well. Yeah.
I would, that's really surprising. I would not expect Oregon Jets and Tank for Tai Simpson to be arguing about who is the better quarterback. That's shocking to me at this point. But yeah, no, I like them both. Again, I think some of the margin between these guys is razor thin. To me, I do think Simpson's been disrespected in terms of like, oh, it's Mendoza or Moore, and nobody's mentioning Simpson, but it is what it is. He had a little bit of a slump when people really started to pay attention. If he comes out and he beats Indiana, then people are gonna be talking about him again, and obviously people are talking about him after this game. He had a very good game, minus a few plays that obviously, we'll recap. And even the one I criticized him on, like, yeah, he underthrew the ball a little bit, but he still got to the read and hit the guy. So we'll keep going through. And this is one where like you see some of the good processing for him. So play action, he reads the flat to the deeper route here. I think it's just like it's a corner route. So you have a flat 7 concept right there, flat not open, 7 not open, and then he gets to the backside read, relatively quickly here and puts the ball on his receiver's chest. And it's just a good example of processing 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Like, you see his eyes right there. It was very quick, and I'll show you again just so you can see. So you have the play action, flat to vertical, to now the crosser route that you see underneath on your screen, then to the backside. Like, it's all very, very quick and smooth right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, bang. And you see, if you see the footwork too, the transitional footwork, I didn't really pay attention to it too much, but it looks very good where you want to match your feet to your eyes and watch the bottom matching his top too. Like, very good reads, very smooth, very good transitional footwork right there from Tai Simpson. And again, gets to his 4th read very, very quickly on that play and hits him right in the chest. So an example.
4th read. Wow. When was the last time a Jet quarterback went to their 4th progression?
4th read and the footwork too, matching the eyes, is also very, very impressive too. Like, do not underrate transitional footwork because it's huge on getting the ball to where you need to get it accurately. And that pick that Brady, he only threw 1 pick, right? That 1 pick that he threw, his footwork was abysmal in that game. His transitional footwork was horrific. And there's a reason he didn't have a lot in that ball and he couldn't fit that ball in there, even though he didn't see the safety. I believe he was covering 1 hole and he just never looked at him. But yeah, 4th read, smooth as hell. Like, that was very nice. So for the people who say, oh, he's just an athlete, doesn't do anything well, processing wise, you're not watching. That's just realistic. Ryan Williams, a guy who I heard a lot of hype about, he cannot catch a cold, dude. He drops so many balls, it is absurd. So good receiver in terms of getting open, but my God, he is not good. So what happens here is it's 3rd down. And I'll look at the concept in a second. A little bit of a muddy pocket. We like the fact that he steps up and he hits Ryan Williams, who just drops the ball on 3rd down. So we got 3rd and let's call it 10 right here. And to the top, he's gonna read that first, and he's gonna read post to out and up. And what he sees right here is, one, he doesn't want to hit the flat, or he doesn't want to hit the underneath route here right here because he doesn't think he's gonna be able to get the 1st down. So what he sees is this DB kind of match this post over the top, and he thinks he can fit this ball into Ryan Williams on the out and up, and he does, and he puts heat on it because he doesn't want the safety to drop down and contest it, and he hits him. And people say, oh, it was because of the hit. If you watch this play on broadcast, the ball squirts through his hands before he even gets hit. So you're talking about a play of him reading it well, again, hitting a apparently a stud receiver, and the ball just squirts through his arms because he body catches more than like anybody I've ever seen. That's all he does is body catch. But again, another play where, oh yeah, Tai Simpson incomplete, but like, stepping up in the pocket, keeping his eyes downfield, reading it well, getting to his 2nd read here, not getting, he doesn't hit this guy again because of the down and distance. But can you blame Tai Simpson for this? Or is this his receiver's fault for just letting a ball squirt through his hands? So just another example of him not being helped. And again, nice step up into the pocket there, nice footwork, not being too toesy, anything like that. So, next one, this is a miss from him, and his accuracy, I would say, is generally good, but there are some plays where he misses, and this is another one of the hawk concepts where it's going to be the vertical to the out right here. If he gets carried and he's out, and this receiver's outside leverage on this, you're going to hit the out, and he does. His base, I think this is one of his bases a little bit overextended, so he's not able to like really drive to the base, and he's inaccurate because of it. So we have a miss here. relatively easy to break down. Obviously, we want to see him put this on the receiver. And it does look like there's not a lot of drive from the hips because his base is a little bit overextended right here. And when you're overextended, you're not really going to be able to drive your hips through. So I want to see the footwork a little bit better here with Simpson in terms of not overextending that base. Misses an out, simple one to break down, but we got to show that, hey, there is some easy throws that he can miss. So let's see, 5 plays left of Simpson. This one is it's a deep touchdown, and this is a nice play though by the receiver, and it's a generally accurate ball. It's one he could put maybe a little bit more outside, but if you actually look at when he throws it, it's kind of hard to tell exactly where the receiver will end up because he decides to throw the ball like now as he's getting out of the break, he throws it, so he's not exactly sure like how hard he's going to cut this to the sideline. But another situation where we have a flood concept, so it's going to be deep to intermediate to the flat again, and I differentiate between flood and sail, and that's for the nerds out there. But this flood's a little bit different to me than sail, but nonetheless. Yeah, no, it's fine. Just one has a curl from the outside, and then the corner route is the deep one where it's a whole thing. Nonetheless, when he decides to throw this and he reads this, safety sitting over the top, outside breaking route, inside leverage DB, and he puts the ball up there and he trusts the receiver to make a play, and he does. Like it's obviously a good play, throwing a 40-yard touchdown, whatever it is. Puts the ball on him. Great throw, or good throw, but great play just in general from Tai Simpson there, trusting the receiver. We got, let's see, next one. This is another one where receiver drops this one. This is Bernard too, who's actually he made up for it in that one catch at the end, which we'll recap, which is not a good ball from Simpson. And this is one where this is a little bit of a footwork problem. He's a little bit, we call that hook and replace footwork, and he doesn't swing his left foot out, so he kind of gets a little bit off balance and falls over himself, and that's probably why the ball is not led as well as he wants it to be. But nonetheless, here in terms of just like the reads and stuff, this is a spot concept to the top, so. You can read this in a few different ways. It looks like he goes 1 to 2 to 3. There is plenty of times where you go flat to like the snag route, if you want to call it that, a hook route. And this is just like an alert for certain coverages. Nonetheless, he comes off of it. Again, more nerdy stuff. He doesn't like anything to the front side. So then he gets to the back side. He feels some pressure. So he rolls out, just naturally feeling that pressure. And initially, I think he reads number 2 right here, Ryan Williams, and his eyes go deep to Bernard. Again, rolls out, sees him deep, puts the ball on him, and the ball just squirts through Bernard's hands, right? Like, it's not a great ball, obviously. And again, more of the nerdy stuff that maybe I'll get to in my breakdowns. But so he hooks and replaces. So you want to get vertical when you're throwing a ball. Like, you want to get square to the target. So you're going to hook that left foot up right there. You're going to replace it with the right. You're going to swing. You typically swing this foot out a little bit more to counteract the balance. He doesn't swing out as much. He gets a little bit then he gets a little bit over it and falls over himself, and his feet cross. And it's probably why it's not a great throw. But in terms of like, hey, should the receiver make this catch, Jake? Like, I'm not gonna say it's necessarily easy, but you gotta catch that ball, right?
I mean, if it's a Jet, no. If it's another team, most likely.
It's not like he's scooping it. It's not like he's scooping off the ground. It's an amazing catch. Like, you can make this catch, dude. And like, Bernard is a good receiver. He definitely is. But
you're right, by the way. I mean, this game alone, where Ty played well, you've shown a couple plays where like his receivers still were not helping him. They still were able to come back down 17-zip and win.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just so it's like the narrative of him. Like, and again, those games he did struggle, but if his receivers and his offensive line running backs made the plays that they were making for Moore or Mendoza, he would not be like looked at in the same context. Like, if the guys were just making plays, people would say, okay, it was a decent game, but he still struggled with this and that, instead of, oh, he was just horrific, in this game. So this one's a dot. This one's a really good deep ball. So he just reads the safety. Safety doesn't expand over top of this. He likes the one-on-one matchup to the bottom right here, and he takes it. And just look at where he puts this ball. It is very, very good in terms of outside to the receiver. You couldn't walk it into a better spot than he puts that. So again, reads the safety. He's not expanding, throws the ball, and the location on that is elite. Like, you're not getting better location than that. So hell of a job, again, just knowing he's vertical on him, but he's inside leverage. So let me put this outside leverage so my receiver can attack it, away from the corner. But again, like, quite literally, I'm not even just saying it, I don't think you could walk that ball into a better spot than Tai Simpson puts it. So obviously an elite deep ball on that play. Again, I think Moore has probably the best and most consistent deep ball of all of them, but Simpson has some plays where like, holy crap. And I showed you guys that last week too, with the one dot on the sail concept. It was really good. And this is another one where like it's an incompletion. He reads the, I don't know if he reads the top first. I forget what it is. I think he might read the top where it's going to be 1 to 2. And then he gets the backside 3 to 4 here. So top, 1 covered, 2 nothing there, right? So then he gets to the backside. He feels some pressure here. Gets to the curl. Doesn't decide to throw the curl because now he's like working out of the pocket. This guy's collapsing on it. Sees the guy in the flat and he gets it to him and just straight up drops it. So like it just he definitely does not have as much help, right? Puts it right on him, right in his face. Drops the ball. And it could have been potentially a first down, or even if not a first down, it's a completion. So the stat line looks better. No help there. So you have like 3 or 4 plays in just 10 plays where guys are not helping him. Now this one is not a good ball by Simpson, and Bernard makes a ridiculous catch. So it makes up for some of those. That's an absurd catch by Bernard to like reach over the guy's back like that. So hell of a job by Bernard. When he obviously reads this and it looks like it's just going to be an RPO, and he's probably going to be reading the safety and see if he expands. If he doesn't, he's going to hand, or if he does, he's going to hand the ball off. Nonetheless, he goes to Bernard to the bottom, and this is a ball you want to lead him outside shoulder like he kind of just did a few plays ago. He puts the ball too short and inside, and let me see if there's anything like glaringly obvious with the feet right off the jump. It looks like this foot might be a little bit too far to the outside. We really want this foot pointed towards where the ball is going. So when it's too far to the outside like this, you're kind of fighting over yourself and like locking your hips out. You can't rotate fully over. So it looks like that foot's a little bit shallow, but nonetheless puts the ball too short. Bernard makes a great catch. So it makes up for some of it, but in 3 or 4 plays, you're seeing the receivers just straight up not helping them. And that's going to be a trend throughout the entire review that I'll do. And you see I have 116 plays to do. So it's probably like a 3 or 4 part review I'll do. But that's your Tai Simpson review from the playoff game.
Beautiful job. Well done there by Joe Blewett, breaking down the film from Tai versus the Sooners, and Oklahoma's got a good defense. That's why a lot of people were impressed with that performance. Now we get Indiana versus Alabama, Mendoza versus Simpson. So I'm looking forward to that. If you guys have a question for Joe as we're doing this, make sure you super chat it in. We'll get to it. I want to let people know again, for those tuning in late, that we're giving away a jersey on the show today. Namath, Klecko, Martin, Krebet, Revis, Mangold, Keyshawn are your options. If you want a current player, I can make that happen as well. Although there's no guarantee they'll be on the team next year. So tread lightly. Comments, questions, super chats. We're going to get to Dante Moore coming up. I want to get to a few super chats that came through. This first one's from Fire Aaron Glenn, who wrote in. Fire Aaron Glenn. And I'll tell you what, Fire Aaron Glenn's been saying that since day one, and his take is aging pretty well so far, I might add. HHSND says, in a trade-up scenario, wouldn't Aaron Glenn prefer to trade the 27 draft capital as opposed to 26? From AG's point of view, 26 is a make-or-break year. He can't risk punting on another season. Won't he be all in? I think that's a good theory. It is up truly to the team that they're dealing with, though. If the only way to get up would be to have to trade one of the Colts picks this year, right? The Colts first rounder this year. That's the only way to do it, and they're not sold on Mendoza or whoever. It might not be up to Aaron Glenn, but I think in a perfect world, you're right. They probably would like to trade one from 27 and be able to use that Colts pick this year to get an impact player to help them win games in 26.
Yeah, no, I think that makes perfect sense, right? Like if you're fighting for your job, why not get more talent on your team this year to potentially win games? I know everybody's saying that the class is stronger next year, just in general, not even just the quarterback. So obviously you would like to hold on to that pick, but at the end of the day, if it's going to cost you that pick, it is what it is. If that's what you want to do to land your quarterback, but yeah, it's definitely an interesting theory, and I actually kind of agree. I might agree with that commenter. I can't see the screen, so I don't know who commented, but I think that's actually a pretty solid point.
Here's one thing I'd bring up too. If Muji is smart when he's dealing with teams, he's able to work it out where, and I think Muji is smart, so I'll give him credit for this. Like if we're trading one of the 27 ones, make it the worst, make it the whichever one ends up being the worst, right? Like the Jets and the Quinn Williams deal, they have the best first rounder out of Dallas and Green Bay. So it's an opportunity for a better pick based on what happens with either of those teams. We have 3 first rounders in 27. Hey, you get the worst of our first rounders next year because I don't want to risk trading away our own pick. And Glenn's god awful. He wins 4 games next year, and that's a top 5 pick we just traded. So I like that angle of it. And then Buffalo Jet fan brought this up on his show. I want to give him credit. If you look at it, next year the Jets have really 4 opportunities for a team to be god awful and give the Jets a premium pick at the top of the draft. Their own, either Green Bay, Dallas, or the Colts, right? Because we get the best of Green Bay or Dallas. So there's 4 teams that we're going to be closely following their draft situation, and the Jets will reap the benefit of whichever team sucks the most in that scenario, you know?
There's nothing like rooting against other teams. Yeah, like Phillip Rivers, dude, it's like hard. But like last night, I was like just rooting so hard against him because I want the higher pick. But
it's such a cool story. And by the way, Phillip Rivers played better than basically most games started by any Jet quarterback this year, and hasn't played in 5 years. He's got a dad bod, and he has 2 weeks to practice. He's changing protection schemes. He's calling out audibles. He's quarterbacking, and then we get Justin Fields, Tyrod Taylor, and Brady Cook.
Yeah. No, it's like I said, he's exciting to watch, and I like the fireness of him. So I hate to root against him, but obviously I want the Jets to have the best pick possible, and hopefully we don't have to trade this pick, right? Like hopefully the Raiders beat the Giants. I know some people want the Giants to beat the Raiders because then the Jets can technically get the first overall pick, but to me, I'd rather have the team who needs a quarterback below us, and then obviously the Giants, who if you finish pick like 3 or 4, whatever it is, like the Giants will be more willing to trade than obviously the Raiders, who are going to take the quarterback most likely. So got to root hard for the Raiders, and obviously the Browns play the Bengals. No, it's not them who play the Chiefs with an injury. I think it's the Raiders, right? So a lot can still happen. I'm just hoping that the Jets finish above one of the Browns or the Raiders, because it's like such Jets fashion that they're going to finish with pick 3 with only 3 wins, and both team number 1 and 2 are going to need quarterbacks. So got to hope that those teams win. There's obviously a chance that they will because of some of the luck we're getting with some of the injuries and stuff, which obviously sucks for what's his name, Minshew, but might help us out in the long run. So
speaking of injuries, if you buy it,
breaking sports news on the Jake Asman Show.
Aaron Glenn just announced that Justin Fields has been placed on injured reserve, so his season is over, and his Jet career, in all likelihood, is over as well. Don't let the door hit your way out, Justin. What a waste of an entire offseason of us trying to pretend the guy who has stunk his whole career was going to come to the Jets of all places and be developed into a franchise quarterback. Good riddance to Justin Fields.
Yeah, dude. And I always felt like great locker room guy, fiery competitor. Like this is like, it's a pretty soft way to go out, in my opinion. Like just like faking an injury so you can get into the, and maybe it's a pride thing where he knows he's not going to play, so now he's injured or whatever it is. But my God, now we have to eat how much money, next year? So we're gonna have like $50 million or whatever it is in dead money for quarterbacks. So good riddance, dude. I'm so excited and I said this weeks ago, I'm so excited to never watch him play football again. And obviously we don't have to, but awful. Comment of the day. I didn't even see who this was from. I scrolled past already, but somebody just said that Tai Simpson's Mac Jones light. That is one of the more wild comments I've ever seen. So I've seen some good comments in your chat and some bad ones. That might be the worst one I've ever seen in the 3 or 4 months of doing the show with you, Jake. He looks just like Mac Jones, right? The athleticism is pretty on par.
Yeah, I mean, people go Bama quarterback. What Bama quarterback has been good since Joe Namath? And it's just like, really?
Yeah. All those Texas Tech quarterbacks before Patrick Mahomes. I remember all those guys.
Wyoming quarterbacks were unbelievable before Josh Allen. You scout the player, not the helmet, people. Enough.
Yeah. That's the dumbest thing in the world, but it is what it is. Scouting the helmets, and there's so many quarterbacks who've come out of colleges who have been the only good quarterback out of that school. So we can say that for almost every quarterback who's ever been good in the NFL. It's stupid. Like, you can't draft more because Mariota, he's going to be a backup level at best. Like, okay, so we can't draft him.
Has Justin Herbert doing
Indiana quarterback?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the best player in college football this year went to Indiana. Like, what are we doing? And he transferred from Cal. Like, all these guys transfer now too. By the way, Joe Burrow went to Ohio State and then transferred to LSU. Like the most guys transfer. Like Tai Simpson's a rarity that he never left. He actually was recruited by Saban and he stayed after the coaching change and paid his dues before he got a chance to start this year. It's a little different than these guys that all bounce around. It's so different nowadays with the college QBs.
Yeah, and like coaches change, all that stuff. It's really stupid to scout like that. But nonetheless, yes, he's Mac Jones. He looks just like Mac Jones.
We'll get to the Dante Moore film review in a moment. I just want to get caught up on the super chats here. Hey, huge shout out to Ted, who's complimenting the radio show with Bart Scott today. Leon as well. Thank you both. For those who missed it, it lives on the ESPN New York YouTube channel. I'll try and post some clips from it on the channel the next few days, but I'm doing morning radio and I'm getting up at 4 a.m. for the next 2 weeks. So I don't have a ton of time outside of the show and that. So I'll do my best. Let's see. Black Gypsy, shout out to you, my man. You were in the raffle for 1. Mike Perez is in the raffle for 2. Mike, I got to send your Chad Pennington ball out. Thanks again for all your support. You're in the raffle here for a jersey at the end of the show. Mendoza or Moore. Tai scares me. Still needs development. Tai would fit best with a team more established like the Rams. What do you say to that, Joe?
If Tai scares you in terms of development, why doesn't Moore scare you in terms of development?
Moore's a 1-year starter too, pretty much.
Exactly. And like he's younger, so you can't say that about Tai and not say that about Moore. And again, there's been more impressive plays from Tai in terms of like processing and stuff. And Moore definitely has more help in terms of the guys around him, the scheme around him. Like you'll see guys, both with Mendoza and Moore, like their scheme in their running game and all that stuff definitely helps them, where like they'll throw checkdowns that will go for 40 yards where Tai doesn't really have that opportunity. So if you say that about Moore, you have to, or if you say it about Tai, you have to say it about Moore. And then the thing with Mendoza too is like he has some process, like he has some ways to go too in terms of like I would like to sit him. I think he is the most ready, but I don't think. And again, I cannot remember one snap that I watched him this entire year of him under center. So he has to learn under center footwork as well. Like he's always in shotgun. A lot of it's RPO. There's not a lot of like deeper concepts. So he's not Tom Brady in terms of processing either, or in terms of readiness. Obviously not Tom Brady out of Michigan, but you know what I'm saying. So he has a ways to go too. So yeah, if you say it about Tai, you got to say about Moore. That's my main point.
Tank for Tai. Tai's a 1-year starter. He'll get even better. Shocking that Tank for Tai is all in on Tai Simpson. Black Gypsy says, who's the best QB coach in the NFL and available? So I did radio with Bart Scott today. We talked about a couple of names. Mark Brunell. We talked about Bart suggested Trent Dilfer, who he knows. He coached high school, college. He obviously had a long career in the NFL. Again, I don't mean to just pick on Charles London because I don't know him personally, but when I see Aaron Glenn botch the Steve Wilkes hire the way he has, I'm questioning all the coaching hires. And when you say Justin Fields has never been coached properly and we're going to coach him up and we're going to let him play quarterback and he's the worst he's ever been, and then I see the QB coach is a former running back who has very little experience actually coaching quarterbacks, I'm questioning everything with the offensive staff before we hand Aaron Glenn a rookie quarterback and say, hey, man, here you go. Go make it work with a guy who's going to need some development. And do we have the right infrastructure to develop that guy? That's why I'm so hard on the quarterback coach.
Yeah, the only, like, did they bring in Charles London because Fields is a running quarterback? Like, this is how you roll. I do not understand, but there's obviously a ton of questions with the Jets coaching staff in general. But if you have the like duo of just Aaron Glenn as a head coach and then Charles London, we might have a Sam Darnold situation. It's scary with him as a quarterback coach. And obviously there's been no development. Fields got worse. Tyrod's looked worse than I've ever seen him. I watched him in the Giants. I was actually pretty impressed. He was not great this year when he was playing, obviously. And then Cook has regressed too. So with just the guys in the roster, they've all regressed. So you have to make a move there. There's no resume.
Our guy Ablab in the house. Shout out to Ablab Studios. Happy holidays, Ablab. We got you in the raffle for 5 of this. Gang, rapid fire question. Is Mendoza better than these 4 quarterbacks from what we know now? Brock Purdy, Bryce Young, Cam Ward, Jackson Dart. Happy holidays. Well, I guess the question would be, Abilab, are you talking as draft prospects coming out? Or are you saying, like, obviously, like, where does Mendoza project at the NFL level compared to these guys? Let's just do it as draft prospects coming out, because I know you did film reviews on all these guys, Joe. What's your opinion on how Mendoza would compare?
Yeah, so transparently, I didn't. Just because one, Brock Purdy was
Brock Purdy, obviously, but yeah,
he was a UDFA, and then when they got like Bryce Young and I watched Cam Ward because I thought
the Jets Dart maybe too, didn't you?
I did not do Dart because
really?
The Jets at that point they had they had Rodgers and all that stuff, and he was like a 2nd round pick. So typically, just because full-time job, family, all that stuff, I can't watch 60 prospects. There's no way for me to do it. So I didn't watch Dart just because I didn't think they would actually end up taking him. But he was a 2nd round pick, right? Or late, was he a second or late first? Late first. Yeah. So he was a late first. So you got Mendoza over him. Bryce Young, he seems like he had more hype than, I would say, both Cam Ward and Mendoza coming out of school. I think that Mendoza can be better than him. I would say Cam Ward, I would probably give Mendoza the slight leg up just because of the processing and stuff, where Cam Ward was much more so just like, hey, bet on traits over. So I think they're pretty close. I would say Young as a prospect probably better than both of those guys. And
but Young doesn't have the size, which is why I like Mendoza's prototypical starts, height, weight. Like Mendoza's what, 6'5" he's listed at?
Yep. Yeah. 6'5", like 220, 225, whatever it is. So he has that size. And that's one of the concerns that you have to think about with guys like, Moore and Simpson. They're both smaller guys, what, 6'1"-ish, a little bit over 200 pounds, where Mendoza has that size. And you've seen quarterbacks say like, hey, sometimes it's difficult. I think Tua said it, like it's difficult to see over the offensive lineman, defensive lineman sometimes, because they're all, some of them are like 6'4", 6'5", whatever it is. So the height just helps you see the field at sometimes as well. So I would say obviously better than Purdy, I would say better than Ward. Bryce Young, it's a conversation, and Dart, he's a better prospect than them. But in terms of like what they are at the NFL level, I'm not watching them every day. So it'd be super disingenuous for me to comment on what they've done recently.
I can tell you the top draft guys, right? I've heard McShay talk about this. I heard Matt Miller was on our station today. They asked him how Dart would compare to Mendoza, and he said Mendoza's the better prospect there. But again, Dart's already had some NFL success, so I don't subscribe to the idea that, the Giants had the number one pick. They trade Dart, and they would draft Mendoza. If Dart was available, I'd be interested from a Jet standpoint, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Giants are going to trade out, build around Dart, and then the Jets and Giants hopefully could do business if it came to that for the Jets to get Mendoza.
Yeah, like I said, hopefully we get really lucky and we just finish with the first overall pick.
Wouldn't that be nice?
I don't think it's going to happen. But maybe finish. I think the betting odds are the Jets at 3 right now, right? But maybe we get to 2 and it's the Giants at 1, and we trade up a second round pick or whatever it is to get that number 1 overall pick, and we can get the Jets' best prospect, which it's not locked to be Mendoza. It's not. If they like upside and stuff like that in the ceiling, they may draft Moore or Simpson over him. I know people are on the Mendoza train right now, but
Kuiper's got Moore as his number 1 overall prospect. Yeah. Think about that.
Oh, out of everybody?
Out of everyone, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of do take what Kuiper says with a grain of salt, but nonetheless, people. It
just shows you that the opinions on Moore. We've only just begun to scratch the surface with people weighing in on these quarterbacks.
Yeah, no doubt. Again, and it could be an upside bet when you're taking number 1 overall. If you want that upside, I get betting on upside for number 1 overall. If you're confident in your staff, for the Jets, maybe take the guy who has the best, the best base and the highest floor. But if it's, let's say, a team who has a good coaching staff, maybe you take a bet on that upside. So.
Couple quick super chats. Bino, Dable for QB coach. I don't know if he would do it, but I would love that if he was interested.
My only concern with that is the personalities of him and Glenn. But it's not like he's a positional coach, right? So he's not like he wouldn't be like an OC or anything like that. So I don't think they'd butt heads too much. But like pride wise, would he take a quarterback coach job? I think he would be an OC somewhere before that. So
he's probably getting an OC job, if I had to guess. Matt L says Justin Fields will be known as the Jets Albert Hainsworth. They're giving out worse contracts than Fields. Fields was a huge bust, no doubt. But Le'Veon Bell, Tremaine Johnson. I mean, we could keep going. There's a lot worse free agent contracts the Jets are giving out before we go full Albert Hainsworth for Fields. Laken Tomlinson was an awful one. And even this one's like more underrated. That's not talked about a lot. CJ Uzomah was one of the worst contracts I've seen. And I watched him versus Conklin. I'm like, how did he get more money than Conklin, who was easily a better player with the Vikings than Uzomah was with the Bengals? But here we are. So I would say Albert Hainsworth level, because it's not as much money. But, and again, we understood the bet on the upside, and it was the only move they can really make, or one of the only really moves they can make. But it's just the overpay that really, killed them. Yeah, just $30 million guaranteed. It's just wild to think about it. Danger Zone says Blewett has never blown it. # irony. # Dante. I appreciate that, the play on words. I know. Yeah, I think he's from Oregon, right? So I'm sure he's a Dante Moore guy as well. I've seen some of him on Twitter hyping up Moore, which is fun. Again, if you have Moore one, I can't question it. Like I can question it, but I don't think you have like flawed thinker. I don't think you're an idiot. Any one of these guys, 1 through 3, I really can't criticize you. The only thing I'll criticize is having Simpson as a second round pick. I think that's crazy. Danger Zone says Blewett has that new PC glow. New PC glow, new mouse glow. Yeah, there's a lot going on. And then our boy Shams has to teach me some OBS. And I'll be able to start drawing some stuff on my computer and stuff like that. So started from the bottom. Now we're here, as Drake would said. Love it. You ready to do Dante Moore, the Oregon Duck quarterback, fresh off a good performance by all accounts against James Madison in the college football playoff? Yep. Well, I'm sharing the first play right now. I think I have 9 plays from him that we'll run through relatively quickly, and you'll see it too. A good game from him. The thing I will emphasize too, and again,
I almost had more above Simpson. I have them really, really close, but you'll see some of the plays that his receivers are making that are pretty ridiculous versus this defense. But this one, he's just going to get to the backside, the number 3 right here. He reads the top. I forget exactly what the top is. I think it might be like 2 verticals. I forget exactly, but he gets to the backside seam here and he hits it for a touchdown, I believe, on this one. So good job. It's a good job by him getting through the reads, which typically you're going to go 1 to 2. Now, if you are trying to get like a pure progression and you're trying to get to the backside to the 3, you might go outside to inside to the 3rd. Nonetheless, when he's reading it, let me see, when he's reading it, obviously to the top, right? You have DB over the top. You have DB over the top of the seam route right here. So he comes off of that pretty quickly, and I think plus with that one in the middle, by the way, you have the safety come over the top. So I think that's why he comes off of that, because if that safety wasn't coming over the top, hey, hit that all day. But processes it quickly, right? Over the top. This safety is starting to drift over. She's going to come off of that, gets to the backside seam. When he gets to the backside seam, what do we see? Obviously, the receiver burned the corner right here. He has a good 2 yards on him, puts the ball, directly on him. And I think that's an example of a receiver making a one-handed catch that doesn't need to be a one-handed catch. And I definitely wasn't the greatest high school player in the world, but I definitely did that too much, where I would try to make one-handed catches when you didn't need to make one-handed catches. Like, this is one that's led pretty well. I don't think there's a reason you track that well to reach out like that. I think he could have put 2 hands on it. Maybe could have put the ball a couple of inches shorter, but obviously still, a good throw. Again, getting through the reads well, seeing that safety, getting to the backside, good transitional footwork, puts the ball in a pretty money spot. Receiver, whatever he is, makes a play for a touchdown. So again, smooth processing from him. Good job reading everything, getting to the backside, boom, touchdown for Moore. So good way to start it for Moore. Let's see, this one's a good one, just in terms of understanding like the situation, in terms of the situation, understanding just leverages. So this play, it's an interesting one. If you look at the formation, they got 3 offensive linemen on the line, 2 offensive linemen on the line out here. So it's a wild formation, and they pump this. They pump like a smoke route to the receiver right here, and then they're hoping the defense bites up on that, and then they have a crosser. He reads the crosser first, and then he gets to the outside. So pump. Get to the crosser, and we have this defender matching, and then a safety coming over the top. So he gets off of that, and then what he sees is this safety, or the DB right here, gaining depth. So he doesn't want to lead him, right? Because they want to lead him into the corner. So what he does is he puts the ball short and lets the receiver come back to it. Because again, if he were to lead him, we're talking about a hospital ball. So it's just quick processing in terms of, again, the pump, reading the 1, getting to the 2, seeing the DB over the top, and just the processing of, okay, I cannot lead him. I got to put it on him. So I'm not going to get my guy killed. And obviously you have a better percentage chance of catching the ball because of not leading him. So really, really good in terms of the ball placement right there from Moore. So I love that play from him, because it's little stuff like that in the NFL that will get you completions or picks or tips and stuff like that. So
something the Jets don't ever do, by the way. I have to point that out.
Yeah, no doubt. And this is one too. We're like, hey, this is a good ball by him, just putting it up there. And this one's going to be another one where you're going to read 1 to 2 to 3. And when he reads the 1 on the inside, you have the DB over the top. 2, he comes off of pretty quickly because it's pretty muddy right there, and he's not sure if he's going to get open. He's falling down. The DB's on him, right? So then he has the out and up here in a situation where, hey, my 1 and my 2 aren't open, and I'm going to trust my number 3 to make a play on this ball. And he puts the ball up there. Like, there's some situations where you can't hold on to it forever and just depend on a receiver getting wide open. Sometimes you're going to have to just put a ball up there and hope that your receiver can make a play, obviously depending on the situation. But this is hell of a catch from the receiver, right? You have, guys, Simpson's guys are dropping wide open balls, and you have guys like this making plays on this ball, which again, it's a good ball. It's a good decision. I love the aggression there on first down to put the ball up there and trust your receiver. The DB's eyes aren't back to you. So the chance he picks that ball versus tips it, obviously it's a much better chance that he just tips it and you live the fight another down. If he was like bailing and shuffling, you can't throw that ball, but because his back is turned to Moore, put that ball on him and let your receiver make a play. Obviously great play by the receiver, right? Like late hands right there. Falling back and making that catch, but still a good play, obviously, for Moore, putting that ball up for him and hoping that he can make a play, which he does.
And one thing you've noticed with the Jets this year, they never take those shots downfield where even if it's not a completion, you could draw a PI. I mean, we saw the one time they did it, Tyrod did it in the game that he hit the bomb to A.D. Mitchell, but Mitchell also drew a pass interference call in that game too. They don't even try to throw downfield where maybe you, in today's NFL, you take advantage of the rules where they call pass interference.
Yeah. A.D. Mitchell. That was A.D. Mitchell versus Terrell on that play too. He beat Terrell, and then Tyrod underthrew it a little bit actually, and he could have let him. But the idea is there. Like in certain situations, just put the ball up there because there's a pretty good chance. You know, it's not maybe worth 50%, but there's a really good chance you're gonna get a PI in today's NFL. So yeah, in certain situations, just throw it deep and kind of see what happens. Not just don't just chuck it necessarily, but with the guy's back to you, like you could put it up there. The chance he's going to pick that ball off are pretty slim to none if you put it in a good location. And that was Cook's problem this game, dude. He was super conservative. It would not take any shots. That was one of the worst games I've seen from a quarterback, really. And I've watched, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields and stuff. It was horrific. But yeah, your point is definitely great there. I think this is a one that the receiver makes. No, this isn't this one. This is just a deep ball where he puts it in a great spot. Receiver slows down for it a little bit, but he beats the DB so bad it's okay. So play action, and this one where he's typically going to read this, inside to actually no. I thought that was a seam route. It's an out route. So you're going to read the vertical to the out right here, and all he sees when he decides to throw this again, it's another situation where hey, my receivers are better than these JMU cornerbacks because when he decides to throw this ball, like look at the leverage here. Like it's not a situation where, hey, this guy is burning him. He just knows that, hey, inside leverage, he trusts his receiver to stem him inside and get to the outside. And he just puts the ball up there for the receiver. So this is a situation where it's just Oregon has better talent than a team like JMU, burns them by 3 or 4 yards. Good accuracy from Moore and good trust in the receiver. And again, just unloading that deep ball. And again, he has a very pretty deep ball. Now, NFL level, are you gonna be able to just hit deep balls all day? Not necessarily, but when it's there, obviously in college, hit it. Like I'm not saying don't take it, but replicatability is just gonna happen all the time in NFL? Probably not. I would say NFL level, you see this matchup, you're probably not going to probably not want to throw it unless obviously depending on the situation, but hell of a play by him there nonetheless, right? Like, your situation, you're playing JMU, so throw it. If you're playing, if he's on the Raiders, he's playing the Jets, most likely throw it, so it's just all dependent on the situation. So 6 plays left. This is one where you're not really going to see much of a better contested catch in this one. This is one where I'd probably recommend getting to your second read here, and we'll see it from the other angle, just how good of a catch this is. You have the design roll out to the right, and this catch is absurd, right? Like there's really that's ridiculous catch. He draws a PI nonetheless, but he does get his foot down right there. So it is a catch. And this is again, you see Simpson, guys dropping wide open balls. And then this catch from this receiver is absurd. Now NFL level, I would probably, and again, I'm process versus results. I would probably say, hey, read this vertical. Or you're going to read this vertical, and then you're going to get to this, what is it, like a blaze, or it's not a blaze out. He sits it down and then works to the outside. You probably want to, based on this leverage with him playing over the top of this, him being not squeezed to the sideline completely, but pretty close to the sideline. I recommend, hey, probably getting to your second read here and hitting this NFL level. This is going to work much more so than, hey, just chuck the ball deep right here, depending on the situation. But again, it's a good play because it's completed, and I like the shot. Is that going to happen at the NFL level with consistency? Probably not, right? Just being fair, because that is a ridiculous catch where more times than not, it's not going to be completed. Where the route to the number 2 right here is a pretty easy completion if he puts it on him with good timing, right?
You don't think Arian Smith's making that catch next year for Dante Moore?
I don't think so. I don't think any and Garrett Wilson's great too. And I know he's had some really good contested catches, but in terms of the replicatability of it, he doesn't do that. He's not the best contested catch guy in the world. People are going to say Texans game, whatever game. I get it. He just doesn't do. He's not Mike Evans. He's not T. Higgins or anything like that. So I would not recommend necessarily throwing that ball over hitting this guy. But take a shot. I'm sure they're up at this point quite a bit. So you already threw 2 touchdown passes. So I'm okay with the shot. But again, this is not one that's going to consistently happen. Next, we got
real
5.
Quick. Your boss, or I guess your co-founder. I don't know. Is Robbie technically your boss? I don't know how it works. You guys are all each other's bosses. But either way, Mr. Sabo's in the house. Robbie came on with me for a segment on radio today. So shout out to you, Mr. Sabo. On top of that, the deep ball parentheses, the Jets offensive line has been great this year. Past years, pass profiles equals tough to go vertical. Not this year, which is more troubling. Great point. Again, they never take chances downfield, and we've had the same 5 offensive linemen for every game since week 1. I know AVT got hurt, but again, we've had continuity all year. We're wasting a good offensive line year. We're wasting a year where we have health on the O-line for the first time in what feels like a decade. And somehow we're going to finish 3-14. Like, again, if the coaching on this team does not alarm everyone, I don't know what to tell you, because what you're watching is not normal. And now let's give Aaron Glenn a rookie quarterback. Okay, I hope it works.
Yeah. The lack of deep shots, and again, it's the conservative nature of Cook this game was brutal to watch, and the way he held onto the ball and the pocket presence, and like he feels a little bit of pressure, just panics and just sprints. There was one play where there was a guy opening the flat, and it was DeMario Davis and the D end, and they ran a pick pressure, and the D end looped inside, and you had a situation where Cook could have hit, I believe it was a flat route or whatever it was open, and he just runs right into a sack. So his pocket presence, like, now they're not working with a lot on offense, no doubt. But yeah, some of the schematics and stuff. Again, I'm not an ink trend apologist. I think I was at a B, maybe it's like a B minus C plus now. There's definitely some plays where the quarterbacks aren't hitting it, but the lack of deep shots in this offense is it's brutal. It's brutal to watch. And with a guy like Moore, he's aggressive. Simpson's aggressive. They're going to take those shots. And Moore again has a really pretty deep ball. So if you do draft him, they better take more deep shots, because it's probably his athleticism and stuff is great, but I think his best trait is probably the deep ball. So if you draft him, you don't take those deep shots, then what the hell are we doing? Yep,
well said.
Yeah. So on this one, he reads the bottom first, and it's a bullet slant. It's a one-step slant to the inside. This linebacker expands underneath of it. And then to this side, you have the swing screen where he works into the flat. So if this is an open, he's probably going to get to the flat right here with the running back. This one, he's a little bit unlucky with the pick. You could blame him a little bit, because I get wanting to throw it with anticipation. The problem is reading of angles. So again, you have the bullet slant, one-step slant, break to the inside. You have to make sure he's going to clear this linebacker. He doesn't clear the linebacker. He hits him. And then you have the DB right here who gets the pick because he falls down. So I get wanting to throw it with anticipation. But in this situation where he's taking that angle, it's going to be really hard for him, just based on leverage, for him to then get over the top or it's not really hard for him, but he has to get over the top of him to then get inside. He can't just stay on this angle. So I get wanting to throw it in anticipation, but he puts maybe a little bit too much trust in the receiver right here, bumps him. It's a pick. Where on the backside of it, in terms of like getting to a second read, you have a guy open in the flat. You have 3 versus 4. But if your receiver your running back can hopefully make a play and get some easy yardage. So he forces this one a little bit. Again, I understand throwing it with anticipation. If this was a 3-step slant or like a 5-step in, okay, throw this over the top with a bullet slant and him taking that exit angle. You have to hold on to this ball for an extra hitch. He doesn't. And it's a pick. So a little bit unlucky there too, but also he forces it just a touch as well, just because of that angle. Again, if he was really, really shallow, okay, but you got to be anticipatory of the angles of each of your, of the defenders in accordance to the routes. Next one, backside. This is one where the JMU, I looked at this coverage a few times, and I would have to watch it even more times. Somebody blows a coverage right here, because there's no way to the top of the screen you have 2 verticals versus one guy. So here, I believe, does he pump the bottom? Let me see if he pumps the bottom. Yeah, looks at the bottom, pumps the bottom, and then he's fake blocking, releasing vertically, he doesn't come off of it quick enough. He's covered, so he gets to the backside, and then you're going to read 1 to 2. And when he's reading the 1 to 2 on the backside, he's seeing this DB with the hips open and getting over top of this, and then he's obviously going to get to the next read right here, right? And he could throw this as well, but why not throw it to this guy, because he's going to be even more open. Puts the ball on him, and we have a walk-in touchdown. So beneficiary of the blown defense, but obviously, hey, he got to that read to be able to see the blown defense. So another deep ball completion for Moore for a touchdown, which was most of his yards, and most of his yards were in this game were just straight up his receivers roasting guys deep or making great plays. This is I would say this is my favorite throw, and I get the deep balls and all that stuff. But I like this throw more than any of them.
Louis Riddick loved this throw too. I was watching the game live because I was curious about Moore, and Riddick goes, "That's an NFL high level throw right there." He went out of his way to highlight that.
Yep, exactly. That's exactly the point. Like those deep balls, great collegiate level, and you're going to hit them sometimes at the NFL level, but more consistently than not, it's not going to be available like it is to you against Oregon versus JMU. This is the more NFL level throw where to the bottom you have that Haas concept where this is going to be a seam versus a cover 3, or if the middle of the field is open, you're going to bend it to the inside. So people call it like a bender route. So receiver takes off vertically. Obviously, you have the safety who's getting over the top of it, so he's going to break to the open part of the field. He breaks to the open part of the field. You have Moore, who is reading, this DB over the top, but expanding a little bit. This linebacker is not matching the bender route, and he knows that his receiver is going to get past the linebacker's level, throws it with anticipation, right? Because when he decides to throw it, the window is there, but it's not wide open, right? Like Justin Fields needs to see it open. There's no anticipatory skills from a guy like Justin Fields. There's an anticipatory throws from Moore, and this is an example of it on the Haas concept. Leads them perfectly, hits him in the chest. And the thing I like about it too is, and I'm not sure if he sees this DB high, but I like the fact that if he does see it, great, he puts it on him. If he doesn't see him, still great, because he puts it on him. Because if you're not sure, it's a muddy picture. You don't want to necessarily just lead him all the time, because if you lead him into a hit, or interception, PD, whatever it may be. So great job reading the safety, the linebacker, and putting the ball on him just in case there's another guy. So that, again, and I know people are all about the deep balls and whatever else. This is the best throw of the game for Moore, because it's the most replicated, or it's the throw that translates the best to the NFL. So it's a great point by Riddick. I was going to say I wish you said it after I said it, Jake, but it's okay. It's nonetheless.
Well, I got some good news. Louis Riddick is joining me on the radio tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. I'm hosting on ESPN New York from 6 to 10 for those who missed that announcement. So Louis Riddick is confirmed. He'll join me at 7 a.m. It's me and Jordan Renan. So we will talk to Louis about all these college QBs, and Louis also interviewed for the Jets GM job, so I'm very interested in his take on why the Jets suck ass.
Yeah. I wonder if he has like a bone to pick with the Jets just because of that. But I like Muji. It just is Glenn the right guy. So I have no faults with Muji, so I can't say I want Riddick or anything like that. But 2 plays left. This one he's actually going to read the top first, and then he's going to read like the deep mesh between the 2 slots right here. And then he's going to get to the backside. So he gets to his 4th read. I think he expects his receiver to continue to run this route more towards the back line of the end zone. Regardless, I think the ball is too high. You can see where you're not going to be able to see where it hits because it plays too fast, but he puts the ball too high regardless. This is a little bit of a miss for him. But I like the process of, of reading the, here, I'll play it first just in case people didn't watch it the first time. But 1, not open, 2, not open, 3, maybe. And he gets to the 4 backside. He overthrows it. And again, I think there's a little bit of miscommunication here where he expects the receiver to do something he doesn't. But in terms of like looking where that ball, let's see if you can see it a little bit. It's hard when you go frame by frame to see exactly where it is, but you can watch it and see how high that ball is. He's not going to catch it regardless. So I want to see him be a little bit more easy there, and just put that ball on the receiver. But again, situation where 1, not going to throw that ball, right? 2, not going to throw this ball. The 2, he's not going to throw that ball. And then he gets to the 3, and again, like you may be able to fit this in at the NFL level, but he's gaining depth underneath of it. So I get not throwing that ball. He gets to the backside right there, to that vertical. Again, I think he expects him to continue. He sits it down, but it's a situation where, regardless, I don't think it's going to be completed. So an inaccurate ball from Moore that most likely could have been a touchdown if he just was a little bit easier. And I get like, hey, there's a linebacker sitting there, but you got to have some touch and not just laser that ball to hit where it hits. So this one is the last one, and this is a bad pick from him. I don't know if I've ever seen this on defense where if you watch this at the snap, these 3 guys just quite literally do not move. It's one of the more wild things I've seen where like they're not matching, they're not doing anything.
What are they doing?
I don't know. And I've watched a lot of tape and stuff, obviously. Like about 300 plays of all these guys, but I've never seen where they just do not move. Like this is wild. So I don't know exactly what they're trying to do here.
Is that from the Steve Wilkes defensive playbook?
Dude, I really, yeah. I do not know. I've never seen anything like this. Cause like if they have any short routes, it's going to be open for Yak. It's wild. Whatever happens, regardless, it's really weird. But here you're, with this, you're gonna read inside to outside, so it's gonna be 1 to 2 to 3. There's a free blitzer here or free rusher. So I think what he sees here is okay. DB over the top versus an inside breaking vertical route. Not going to throw that. He's expecting that this DB is going to carry the post here, and then the wheel's going to be open behind it. But again, he's assuming. So pressure in his face. I believe this is first down. This is a play where, hey, make a play with your feet, take a sack, whatever it may be. But you don't want to obviously just throw a ball up there when you're not sure of what you're seeing and lead it to a pick. So they throw off the back foot. Yeah, throws off the back foot fading. The ball is hanging up in the air. DB reads it. And then he jumps it for a pick that should have never, and the receiver slips, so it doesn't help, but you can't just put that ball up there. Now, if this is a situation where it's fourth down, game on the line, fine, but situationally, you're talking about, first and goal from, the 8-yard line here. So just live the fight another down. Don't assume that he's going to carry the post because, again, that is wild. I don't know if I've literally ever seen that. So bad play from him to end the review. But again, just being fair, I'm showing everything that I'm seeing from these games. So I'm not cherry picking plays or anything like that, but that's your Moore and Simpson.
Well done. Everyone give some love to Joe Blewett in the chat. Crushed it with this review. Barbarossa says, I have to say, I feel better about the idea of not having the first overall pick. Seems like these three could all be good. You demand, Joe B.
I appreciate that, Barbarossa. Again, I think it's razor thin between these guys. It is crazy that Simpson's gotten out of that conversation. Again, any order you have these guys in, I'm okay with it. Minus the disrespect to Simpson. That's all I'll say. And it seems like I'm a stan right now, but just watching him, the criticism he gets is wild to me at times.
Some super chats here. John says, so Joe, the question is, if Mendoza and Moore go back before we pick, do we take Simpson? Do you think he's worthy, or do we take BPA?
Hold on. So the question is, if Mendoza and Moore go before we pick, do we? Yeah. Again, it's going to sound crazy to some people because I'm not riding like the momentum of the Mendoza train and all that stuff. So it sounds crazy, but Simpson's my number one, and that's, people think I'm crazy for that, but quite literally, I show you guys the film every week and why I think that. So it's not like I'm just pulling it out of my ass, and I'm going to have 100+ plays review of him. So you're going to see why I think he's the number one. And I do think Mendoza's safer. It's just the combination of floor plus some of this, obviously the higher ceiling of Simpson. That's my number one. I think he's 1A, and Mendoza's probably 1B, with Moore being my 3 there. But I'm okay with any of the 3, really. So if you're confident that one's going to fall to him, I'd rather take that guy than trade a first-round pick to any one of these guys. I don't think any one of them is that much better than the next.
HHSNDD in the raffle for 2. And by the way, folks, we'll take some calls here. I'll stay on for the calls if you call in and want in on the Jet conversation today. If you missed it, there was a little Jet news. Justin Fields' Jet career likely done. His season's over. Glenn putting him on IR with a ruptured vagina. Kidding. Obviously, he's got a knee injury. Anyway, Mendoza is the quarterback the Jets need. Moore and Simpson are good players at elite programs. Mendoza elevating IU to number 1 with a bunch of 3 stars while beating Oregon and OSU along the way is most impressive.
Yeah, no, that's just not. That's just factually untrue. Mendoza's getting much more help than at least Simpson. Moore, there's an argument, but if you look at the play design, if you look at the running plays, the yak and all that stuff, Mendoza is very, very, and it's not even debatable at that point. He's getting more help than Simpson is. More conversation, but to say that Mendoza's getting more help than Simpson, there's no way if you watch you can actually have that opinion. I'm sorry, I just got to be honest.
I mean, Indiana was in the playoff last year, too. Now, they got killed, and they're way better this year, obviously. And Mendoza has had a great year, but let's not act like Indiana just like they sucked last year. They didn't. They were really good last year, and then Mendoza transferred there and has taken them to a new level. Just watch their run games, watch their schemes, watch the plays the receivers are making, where, again, with Simpson, I showed 10 plays and 3 or 4 like easy drops or whatever it was by the receivers. So that's just factually untrue. It's just untrue. I'm sorry. Oh, man. Comments, questions, super chats. They will cut the line. We got this one. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? It was not a super chat. It was Aaron Glenn. So I haven't heard this yet, but apparently it's Aaron Glenn talking about the difficulties of coaching a football team around the holiday season.
Christmas is not a distraction, but there are things outside of that can be a distraction. So we have to handle this week in a very professional way of understanding that family and friends, listen, we love when they're around, but we cannot make sure that can be a distraction to the players, that we focus on this game and make sure we give everything we can to go out there and win this game. So that's what we're looking forward to. Again, great team, great coaching staff. And again, we're ready to go and play this game in our home field in front of our fans, our last game in front of our fans. So we're looking forward to that.
I mean, a couple things. One, there'll be more Patriot fans there than Jet fans there. And Joe Blewett will be there. At least he'll be representing Jet Nation too. Most of your fans at this point are rooting for losses. And three, I mean, you got to give your best effort to go out there and compete and win the game. You just lost 29-6 to the Saints. I mean, it's tough to take you seriously when you say that. But what did you make of Aaron Glenn talking about coaching around the holiday season?
Was that the question? Like, it could be a distraction with the holidays. I was like lost on like what's the distraction there? Is that what he's talking about? Your family and all like the holidays and stuff. Is that the question?
Yeah. So SNY Jets is the account that posted that clip from the presser. Caption is Aaron Glenn talks about the distractions that could sprout up as a result of the holidays and looks ahead to the Jets' final home game of the season.
I don't know, man. You're making millions of dollars to play a game. Is it really that big of a distraction? Like, I don't know.
Just don't let go of the rope.
Hey, if you dare get some cookies on Christmas, Aaron Glenn is cutting your ass. All right,
dude. It's just like I don't know, man. I got work on Christmas Eve. Am I distracted at work? Like I think
cookies not allowed for Jet players.
Some what are the Todd Bowles Gladys Knight Oreos? Remember that reference? Or Todd Bowles always
remember Adam
about
Gates,
that,
by the way, he skipped Thanksgiving with his family to prepare for the 0-11.
They got blown out.
We didn't score a touchdown. I'm pretty sure we got killed.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know if it's a distraction on the holidays. We had a problem there. Nonetheless, it's your job. That's a weird question to me. I don't know.
Who asked that question? We're that desperate for questions. We're gonna ask Aaron Glenn about the difficulty of coaching around the holidays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see Jay Claus go read Joe's comments, watch videos on Zach Wilson come out, which is completely fine because I think 28 out of 32 GMs had him over Justin Fields. So it's like people miss on quarterback. So if you have misses, it's fine. It's about the evaluation process. So Jay Claus, if you want to actually criticize one of the plays I break down or anything like that, I welcome you to the channel instead of just like making a generalization. Like, okay, then all 28 out of 32 GMs are stupid too. So everybody sucks. Like quarterback's the hardest position to evaluate in the entire in all of sports. So if that's your criticism of this, then again, criticize one of the plays I brought up, but you won't do that because you're an idiot. So
yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, I criticize Joe Douglas for a lot of things. The one thing that I think he gets unfairly criticized for is the idea that like the Jets were like on this island reaching for Zach Wilson. The consensus was he was the second best quarterback of that draft class. You could say, I like so-and-so better, but guess what? They all are different variations of terrible. Justin Fields, bad. Trey Lance, bad. Mac Jones, bad. There was no alternative. Lawrence is finally playing like the guy that we heard for 5 years he was going to be, and it took his third coach to allow him to eventually do that, which shows you coaching is, again, everything, no matter what level of prospect you are. But I say that to say, like, obviously the Zach pick was a abject failure. They should have stayed with Darnold, traded the pick, whatever. Yep. But the idea that, they took Zach Wilson, they reached for Zach Wilson, don't just reach for a quarterback. No. They didn't reach for Zach Wilson. They just got it wrong, and obviously they're paying the price for it.
Yeah. It happens, dude. Like quarterback is the hardest position to evaluate. Everybody misses. So, just the conversations of like, he sucks. You were wrong. Like, fine, but tell me why I was wrong with like specific plays or the thoughts on him, not just, you were wrong. He sucks, because then a lot of people were wrong, right? Like, so do I get credit for saying that Evan Neal was the highest I would pick him, was a 4th round pick when everybody was hopping on his dingling, So like people miss. Everybody.
What did
misses.
you like about Neal, by the way? Because I'm fascinated how the Giants could be that wrong with a player in the top.
I don't do like and people have respect too. Like, and it's just like, and that's why I don't trust anybody in terms of the evaluations. So I like to see it with my own eyes, because I really like guys like Brandon Thorne, and Brandon Thorne had him as his number 1 player in the entire draft. And I watched him, and I put up, if you just look up my Twitter, like Joe RB, whatever, 31 and Evan Neal, I put up like 30 plays of him getting destroyed in the run game. His hands were always they were always low. They were always wide. He never won run reps. And then even in the pass game too, like he just wasn't that impressive. So I think it was a thing like Alabama size potential. potential. I hated Evan Neal in that process. So like to criticize one evaluation, it happens. Like no doubt. There is nobody who was perfect. And if you think so, you're wrong, or it's just like a thing where you're just like evaluating. Oh, I said it in one video that there's like, I don't know. It's just how people are. But yeah, nonetheless, I wanted Zach Wilson over Justin Fields. So yes, I'm an idiot. Don't watch any of the reviews. Thank you, Jay Claus.
Comments, questions, super chats. Cut the line, ladies and gentlemen. New Q with an analogy. The girl could be beautiful, but terrible in the sack. You don't know until you know.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, New Q. I did not. All right. Yeah. Thanks, fam.
Oh my goodness. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Last chance to get in if you want to call in to the show with Joe Blewett. Right now, we only have one man on the line, and it's fitting that Joe Blewett is wearing his Santa hat because, ladies and gentlemen, it's time.
It's Santa Beast time from the Global Studios. It's not really an You can't wait. His boots all white, his ass. Merry Christmas, bitches.
Hello, everybody.
Peace.
I'm a little tired today.
Dr. Pepper shirt? Nice.
Hey, Dr. Pepper has been in my favorite since I was a kid. And yesterday I bowled a 132. That was a little painful, but it'll be okay.
You're a real champion.
I can take pain. And let me say who wrote and I wrote books on pain. I know what it feels like to go through the bumps and the bruises and the getting up through the back pain and everything else. You could even ask Shane Douglas. You could ask Raven. You could even ask the great Sid Vicious. But
okay.
let's look at how Sunday's going to be. I don't see anything. I don't see us going up.
Are you blind? What do you mean?
You know what the Patriots are going to do to us? Here's their tank. Here's our tank. We're gonna get slaughtered because look at their team compared to ours. We're dog shit. They look like the team that's gonna roadkill us. For roadkill. And I don't see it. I mean, Glenn better do something real fast because if he doesn't get his head out of his ass, he's gonna be singing the blues at the unemployment line down the road. You can kiss my big ass. Woo!
Joe, obviously, Beast made a lot of salient points there. Your thoughts?
I think that's his best take he's ever had. That Dr. Pepper is his favorite soda because I am with him. I'm a Dr. Pepper guy as well. Now I haven't had Dr. Pepper in probably 10 years, but nonetheless, it is the best soda. So I am 100% with Beast there. So props to Beast.
Ladies and gentlemen, props to Joe Blewett. I'm just seeing this. A 10 spot from Joe Blewett. He really is Santa Claus. He just gifted 10 memberships to the community. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Blewett, this is for you.
Get your ass off my super chats. Some of these are gifted memberships too.
Hey.
The hell with it.
Blewett in the raffle for 10. James Fitzpatrick, Jason Alice, Anthony Kennedy, Weed the People, Wyatt, Payback, Acta Don't Care, Goth Phoenix, Zach Benson, Mr. Peabody the Skeptic, all receiving a membership from Santa Claus, Joe Blewett himself. Joe, you're the man. I hope you win the jersey now. That'd be pretty sick. I wish I could get it to you in time if you win for Jets Pats on Sunday.
Dude, I feel like this is one of those games where I feel like I might just wear like a black sweatshirt. Just don't have to hear anything from anybody. Like I just want to be there and tailgate. Like I don't know if I'm gonna wear a jersey, but if I get that, yeah, no doubt. But the least I could do, obviously, tickets and all that. I was already planning on anyway. I'm wearing a Santa hat. How can I not gift some memberships? But I appreciate you in the chat. So got to throw some memberships out there so for the holidays.
100%. If you got a membership for Joe, just in general, go subscribe to Joe's YouTube channel where he does the Blewett Splits, the film room show for the Jets. And God, you have so much film on these prospects with the amount of picks the Jets now have the next 2 years. I mean, your life is going to be the draft.
Yeah, dude, it's going to be crazy with another kid coming on the way. It's going to be super, super busy, but It's definitely fun to evaluate these guys. It just sucks that when the regular season starts, it's like, okay, when is the draft happening? When is free agency happening? So I can't wait until we actually get to like watch good football during the regular season as well. But hopefully the Jets nail it this year with this quarterback, and we go from there. But yeah, this has been brutal watching this team over and over again. So watching the prospects is actually fun, you know.
Oh, so brutal. One last super chat for you, Joe. This one's from Nick Shine. Has Joe ever done a wellness check that compares the beast? Merry Christmas to all. Let's go Raiders.
Yeah. So in my town, we have it's like a mental health advocate for our county. So everybody, and she owns a building like with like 20 apartments in it, whatever it is, or maybe not 20. It's like, 16 maybe. And every person in there has mental illness. So we've had some calls where like this one lady, like she climbed the tree with a machete, was like eating cat shit. Like I've had some calls. So yeah, I definitely top beast in my career, but, yeah, I don't think Beast is crazy at all. I think Beast is just is a great dude who loves Dr. Pepper and is good dude. I like Stormrock 77 Beast, right? That's him.
He's a man's man, that Beast. Absolutely.
Yeah. Beast is
good. Joe, happy Christmas Eve. Happy Festivus. We aired out some of our Jet grievances earlier, which was a lot of fun. Not really, but it's what we do on Festivus. Yeah. Have a great Christmas. Happy New Year. Always love having you on, man. We'll do it again soon. I mean, we're going to have more college film to break down. And I mean, man, it's going to be a crazy offseason, but you've been such a great addition to the show every week. So I can't thank you enough, man. You're the best.
Yeah. Happy holidays to everybody in the chat. I'll be back next week. I don't do Simpson and Moore even play next? Well, I know Simpson doesn't, but does Moore play next weekend? Do we have any college film to break down next week? I don't even know if we do.
We might have to get back to we might have to do some Jets, or we'll just have you on and we'll talk about whatever else is going on with this team. Maybe spare you from Jet film.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. Jets film or not. Maybe we just take some calls, whatever it is, because like at that point we're gonna get beat. Like B said, what is it gonna be 45-6 or something like that in this game? So who wants to watch it? So Danger Zone says more 1-1 at noon. So yeah, by next week, 7 days. Yeah, we're not even gonna have film. So we'll see what's gonna happen next week, Jake. But they said happy holidays to everybody. Enjoy it with your families and all that stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Joe Blewett. Make sure you guys check out his channel. He's part of the JetX family, co-owner of the site. And if you tuned in late, I mean, Joe was excellent breaking down Tai Simpson's playoff performance against Oklahoma. And then, of course, Dante Moore's playoff performance against JMU. We're going to get Simpson and Mendoza in the Rose Bowl on January 1st, New Year's Day. So I am looking forward to that. I'm doing the morning show on ESPN New York on that day. So as a Jet fan, thank God I'll have that to talk about with this team. So I'm looking forward to that. Again, I'm doing the morning show every day. Basically until January 2nd. So 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Tune in. Listen to me. Jordan Renan covers the Giants for ESPN. He's the Giants version of Rich Cimini, but Jordan's a big New York sports fan, so we'll talk plenty about everything going on. Knicks, Yankees, Mets, obviously the New York football, and a whole lot more. Last chance to get in on the show. I'm going to get the raffle names ready. I've already done 4 hours of radio today with Bart, so I am a little exhausted. I got to prepare a show for tomorrow morning. So last chance to get in if you want. Dr. Cornelia says, congrats to AG for having 0 players selected for the Pro Bowl. Think about this for a second, right? I talked about this on the radio today. There are 3 teams in the NFL that have 0 Pro Bowlers. It's the Jets, it's the Saints, and it's the Vikings. The Saints just beat the Jets by 23 points. They don't have any Pro Bowlers. That's who the Jets are getting killed by. 4-10 team coming in. Crazy. It's coaching, man. It's coaching. The Jets entered the year. The revisionist history about how bad this roster is, by the way, by some of you clowns, is laughable. 8 of their 11 starters back on defense. A former first-team All-Pro on all 3 levels of its defense. Sauce, Quinnen, Quincy. Quincy's having the worst year of his life. Sauce and Quinnen have already been traded, and they were bad when they were here. Or Sauce wasn't bad, but he wasn't as good as he was under Saleh his first 2 years. And Quinnen was actually bad. All right, because then he goes to the Cowboys and immediately starts playing like, Aaron Donald for a couple games. Quinnen made the Pro Bowl, by the way. Which he probably shouldn't have. I mean, that's the Cowboy effect. But still, I mean, since he's been a Cowboy, he's definitely been a Pro Bowl level player. And then because everyone loves to make fun of the Jets, you have this tweet making the rounds today. 3 former Jet first-round picks were selected to the Pro Bowl. And they're all with different teams, right? Leonard Williams, Sam Darnold, and then Quinnen. You don't see Sauce on there, though. That's because the Charles Gorman effect has captivated the Indianapolis Colts, if we're being fair. The Gorman effect is real, folks. Since Charles Gorman left the Jets and became a Colts fan, their entire universe has gone in the dumper. The Colts are 1-5 since trading for Sauce Gardner, are going to miss the playoffs, and they do not have their first-round pick this year or the following year. Now we need Gorman to root for the Patriots. That's the next step. But Charles says he's back on the Jet side of things, so take him at his word. But the Gorman effect helped the Jets here, folks, because, again, the Sauce trade is going to end up being one of the best moves they've made. I mean, Muji deserves a ton of credit for that. 1-5 since the Sauce trade, and according to Nick Shine, 2-6 since Gorman declared his allegiance. It's pretty amazing. By the way, as far as Jet Pro Bowlers, Nick Folk and Austin McNamara got snubbed. Even Isaiah Williams, you can make a case, should have been in it as the returner. But when you're a bad team, you don't get credit. You don't get the fan vote, and you don't get respect. Mike Perez, 2 more raffle tickets for you, Mike. He writes in, Blewett sold me. If all 3 QBs come out, we could stick and pick. This may be the 2000 draft part 2. Can't wait for April. Look, I think if the Jets love someone, though, then you got to be willing to trade up and get the guy. But there's a price, right? I'm not trading 3 1s to go from 3 to 1 with the Giants. They can go F themselves if that's what they want. Not happening. Would I be willing to trade one of our 2s to go from 3 to 1? Yeah. I mean, again, the best thing that can happen for the Jets is on January 15th, Dante Moore officially declares for the draft. Because if you have him, Simpson, and Mendoza, it doesn't make the cost of trading up as expensive because other teams aren't going to be trying to also move up. If there's only one quarterback, everyone's going to try and move up because that's the only option, and there's going to be a huge premium on it. If there's other QBs available for the Jets and other teams that also need quarterbacks, it's not going to be as expensive as you'd think to move up, which is why, again, it behooved the Jets to lose out, which they will. They're not being the Pats or the Bills, and they'll be 3-14. And if they get, a little help here, they could be as high as 1, but in all likelihood, they're 2 or 3. Here's something that no one's paying attention to. We need the Browns to win a game, right? Because the Browns also need a quarterback. I don't think they're sold on Shedeur Sanders necessarily, right? They're going to have a new coaching staff coming in. If Stefanski gets fired, I don't know how that staff will feel about Shedeur. But right now, Cleveland's in front of the Jets. They need a QB. Vegas is in front of the Jets. They need a QB. The Ravens play the Packers this Saturday night. It's a Peacock game, right? If the Ravens lose, the Steelers clinch the division before they even play a game on Sunday. Root for Green Bay. So if Green Bay beats the Ravens, the Steelers clinch the AFC North. Now stick with me. That means the game against the Browns they play Sunday at 1 means nothing. Are they really going to do everything in their power to try and win? Are they really going to leave Aaron Rodgers out there as Myles Garrett's trying to chase the NFL sack record and risk injury? How locked in are the Steelers going to be knowing the game doesn't mean anything? They're locked in for the AFC North already. It increases the chances the Browns, who are playing to win. Stefanski's trying to save his job. Shedeur is obviously playing his ass off, trying to prove he belongs. Like, he's not going to try and not play well, right? So that Cleveland would have every reason to win. And then all of a sudden, if they win a game, then you have the Giants and the Raiders. And if the Giants go out there and let's say they lose, Raiders win, well, boom, the New York Jets, just like that, they slid up to number 2. And then maybe the Giants could go out there and beat the Cowboys last game of the year. And we'll see based on the strength of schedule, if the Jets could get in front of the Giants for the number 1 pick. Or you could root for the Giants this week, Jet fans, and then root for the Raiders to then beat the Chiefs in week 18. If you want the number 1 pick, that's the easier path because I think the Giants are more likely to win this week than they are in week 18 against the Cowboys. So if the Giants do beat the Raiders and then the Raiders go out there and they lose to the Giants where they could beat the Chiefs, who would love for the Raiders to blow the number 1 pick, then there's another pathway for the Jets to move up to number 1 as well. So I know all these different scenarios I'm playing out. People might not have any idea what I'm talking about. It's hard to follow, but again, it's not as crazy as it once thought for the Jets to actually get into the top 2 and maybe even number 1. There's a pathway to it. There's definitely a pathway to it, which is, I think, better than how it looked a couple weeks ago for sure. V-Man in the house. He's in the raffle for 2 with this. I don't see the Giants winning another game. I trust an aging Pete Carroll over Mike Kafka, who looks way in over his head. Raiders may just win out with how bad KC looks. I hope they do. Right? Because the Jets and Giants could do business. And the Raiders win their final 2. We need Cleveland to win 1. All of a sudden, Jets and Giants, let's make a deal. Let's make a deal. Leon says, will the Bills have anything to play for in Week 18 against us? I think they will, because they're going to want to probably play Pittsburgh in the first round, right? And they're not going to want to lose that last game at that old stadium. The division will not necessarily be clinched yet either, Leon, as long as the Patriots win on Sunday against the Jets, which we all expect them to. So the Bills are going to have to play to clinch the AFC East, I believe. I could be wrong. I mean, could the Bills win the division if they just win this week? I need to check that, because I could be off based on that. But I think Buffalo would still be playing for seeding regardless. That's how I've viewed it. I gotta see, because the Pats are 12-3, and Buffalo, what's their record? Buffalo, they're 11-4. Yeah, so it should still be on the line for them. 12-3 versus 11-4. Yeah, they're gonna need that game. It's gonna matter for them. Beast writes in, I broke my back all year at 265 pounds. I was a killing machine. Also, B-Man, did you congratulate Mike Tomlin on a 19 straight winning season? Did you congratulate Mike Tomlin on probably winning at least 10 games with Aaron Rodgers? You know, the guy that you said you wouldn't trade an acorn for, I believe was your quote. Would only be immediately the best coach the Jets have had since Bill Parcells, but I digress. Instead, we got this
Just
guy.
don't let go of the rope.
Yeah, I mean, that's me with the rope. At least we got hugs from our owner, though.
I hug him every day. I hug him every day.
You clown-sucking douchebag. Are we ready first?
We are not ready just yet. I believe the exact quote from V-Man, according to Boom, was, I'd rather a pine cone than Mike Tomlin. Oh. If Mike Tomlin is worth a pine cone, what's Aaron Glenn worth, V-Man?
We're here to win now, and we're looking forward to it. So any questions?
Maybe a toilet seat.
What's wrong with your back, Beast? Talk to us about your back.
From the top of my shoulder blade all the way down to my spine, causing a reaction. That's not great. That's not good. You tried, I've done this for a long time. Let's look at it. Football, baseball, basketball, bowling, soccer, field hockey. I still take an ass kicking every day, and I'll tell you, that's life. You get up, you get your ass kicked, and you still come back for more. But you know what? As Danny Glover once said, I'm getting too old for this shit. That's a tribute to the great Danny Glover, the man who was also in Angels in the Outfield. Great movie, by the way. But I don't see it. Come Sunday, I don't see it. The Patriots are going to blow us right out of the water with their freaking tanks, and they're going to run us over with their big heavy combat boots, and they're going to walk all over going, Patriots are walking big, walking big, walking big. Yeah, and what are we going to be to them? We're going to be squashed ants. Squashed. And no, I don't like ants. Ants are disgusting. But are we ready for that, Raffle? Are we ready?
We're almost ready. I have a couple questions for you from the audience. Someone wants to know, what is it going to take for you to start eating some salads, Beast?
I already had one yesterday with some chicken in my salad. Don't worry. Hey, if you all been to the war like I have, you should know the game.
What about Hey, Ralphie says, what about mini golf world champion? Any mini golf in that?
I don't play much mini golf like I used to because nowadays, when you get, age catches up to you. Everybody's getting
Also,
old these days.
JD says he didn't see a single spare out of you. You didn't
Because
break
you
100.
weren't goddamn paying attention, moron. You were too busy in space going. Star Trek, the next generation. And I mean, I hate Star Trek. Star Trek was not my kind of the show. I'll take Lost in Space over that. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. That had a kick to it.
All right, I was going to get to the raffle, but we got a couple of people who did call in, so I will squeeze them in. Barbarossa's next. Hello, Barbarossa.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's been a while since someone has spoke about me like that, but I appreciate it, man. Just wanted to say happy holidays to everybody. I got a nice Christmas sweater. Wore this for you, Jake. Might go watch this later, but the Joe Blewett stuff was really good, man. I feel better about not necessarily being, the number one pick or maybe getting, the second quarterback in the draft. It was a really good breakdown overall. So I just wanted to say that I'm not a football guru or a quarterback guru, but I mean, I just like the idea of Mendoza he's 6'5", like he's a football nerd. I don't know. I just feel like he's the least likely to get most wrecked by bad coaching, which is what we have.
That's my thought too. Like,
right,
I feel like he's got the highest ceiling. He's got the size. He's played the longest. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, it's like it would really take an epic disaster. And it might even, I don't know who said this maybe it was yesterday or the day before, but like only 1 year maybe of Aaron Glenn with him can't ruin him anyway. So it's like I really feel like he has the best chance to not get ruined by the coaching that we have now. And I think that'll be our best opportunity going forward. But again, like I'm not a guru, but I do feel better about this with the breakdown. Happy holidays to everybody. Jake, this show's great. As Maniacs, you guys are awesome. And for everybody, cheers. Take care. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to Alan, his finger, and the guy that effed him twice.
Ladies and gentlemen, Barbarossa.
Ho, 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 big cho, cho, cho.
Love it. Happy Festivus. Happy Christmas Eve. Hey, we got some memberships flying off the shelves. Dr. Cornelius in the house. He's in the raffle for 5.
Hello. You play to win the game.
Jets jersey raffle coming up shortly. The following 5 people got a membership. Dr. Cornelius, a self-gift to himself. We love when that happens. AJ Gilbert, Hate Me Now. I believe it's actually You Hate Me Now. It's pronounced. Spin Max Dave and Kaylord 2 all receiving a membership there. Appreciate you, Dr. Cornelius. Brian in the raffle for 2 with a $10 super chat. Let's go Jets. Let's get Mendoza. The kid just seems special. Hope my present this year is a new coach at McCarthy or Gruden. It's coaching. I don't think you're going to get that this year, Brian, but you could still get Mendoza. That's your guy. That's still obviously a possibility. All right, today's closer is an absolute legend, folks. He's a man that we love, we respect, some might even fear.
Oh, shit.
Jake?
Peter?
I want to wish everybody happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, Happy Hanukkah. Hope everybody has a healthy and a happy. And now for the bad news. Now for the bad news. You know what? I've given it a lot of thought. It doesn't really matter who we get. It really doesn't matter. We have no coaching. None. Zero. Aaron Glenn is definitely not the answer. And the best thing we could get for Christmas is a new coach. Because if this guy's not going to do anything, we're wasting. It's like a waste of time. It's almost, it's cynical, because we're just not going to get anything done. Even if we got Mendoza, they'll ruin him. The offensive coordinator, the head coach, and whoever the defense, he'll probably leave Harrison as the defensive coordinator. And a question I wanted to ask you, Jake, is what did Bart Scott say to you behind closed doors?
Well,
as far as the coaching staff.
Yeah, I mean, did you watch the show today?
Yeah, some of it. Yes.
Yeah. All I'll say is, when I was extremely critical, as I would say to anyone, I'd say it to Aaron Glenn's face. I'd say it to anyone. I have no shame in anything I've said. I think I've been fair and honest. I'm going to call it how it is. All I will tell you is, Peter, Bart didn't disagree with anything I was saying today. So if you watch the show live, and I was making my points on my concerns with this coaching staff and going forward with Glenn, he wasn't saying, hey, here's why you actually should feel confident. Or here's where you're off base. So, you can take that information and do whatever you want with it.
How about as far as Bart coming out of retirement and coming back to football? Has he said anything about that?
He said if the money was right, he would do it. But then he also said he's got one kid in college. He's got a senior in high school who's about to go to college, and he's got a teenager. He says he would like to coach one day, but he doesn't think now would be the time. But then he said, hey, if they make me an offer, he basically said I could be bought in like his typical joking Bart way. Well, I mean, just talking with him, I mean, the guy's brilliant as far as like just knowing football and strategy and all that. But he's got no relationship with Glenn. If Rex was the coach, he'd do it in 2 seconds. But I don't see it happening.
Well, anyway, we could always wish. Anyway, have a happy holiday, and I'll see you after the new year, Jake.
100%, Peter. You're the man.
Okay.
We're tanking away, baby. Just 2 games to go. Brady Cook at QB, which is the right move. But, man, how big of a wuss is Justin Fields? Ralphie says, I'm in the raffle, and I'm drafting Tai Simpson. Ralphie, who's a Bama guy, wants Ty. He's in for 2. I like Tai Simpson, too. I've been on Tai Simpson all year. I've said I liked him. Well, not all year, but since we started talking about these quarterbacks and I started paying attention, it was like Mendoza. And then it was Simpson. And then Simpson had a couple bad games. It was like, oh, no, he's terrible. And it's like, we can't do this, man. We can't overreact to every game, right? If Mendoza, all of a sudden, he's great against Ohio State. If he plays Ohio State again in the national title game and he's not as good in this game, all of a sudden we're out on Fernando Mendoza then? If he can't beat Ohio State the second time, you know what I mean? Like, we got to relax. If you're basing evaluations on just one game or a couple games here and there, like every great quarterback has a bad game. It happens to all of them. No, there's no perfect prospect. Let's see. Leon says Bart on air with Jake said he would consider coaching if the money was right. Yep, that's true. Also that he is waiting for his kids to go to college. Yep. Leon, appreciate you listening, man. That is exactly what he said. Bart mentioned a few simple tweaks that the Jets linebacker should make. Yep. Yeah, I asked Bart because we were talking about Phillip Rivers, obviously, after the game last night. I was like, how long would it take you if you had to, like, get ready and get in a game? Like, I'm not saying you play well, but, like, get ready to get through an NFL game. Say you need a month. I'm like, you'd be better than what we currently have a linebacker right now. Just off his brain. Like, that was the big thing Bart was hammering home. That, like, these guys just don't know what they're doing because, like, just football players aren't as smart between the ears now. Like, they just, like, Bart's like, I could point out things that teams are doing just because I've seen it on tape or I study it. He said the Patriots are running the same offense that they ran with Brady because it's McDaniels. He's like, I already know what's coming. How do these guys not know what's coming? So it was an interesting conversation. Also, David is clearly watching the show on delay because he just commented, blew it, dude. He was 5 feet out of bounds. You're overthinking this. David, when you get to this part of the show, about an hour and change from now, thanks for watching. Smash the like, says Rich. Amen. All right. I think we're caught up on raffle names here. We got Brian Miros in here. Did I add you, Brian? I did. Great. All right. Let's give away a Jets jersey to one lucky Asmaniac who is tuned in right now. Before we give away the jersey, though, we bring on our raffle ringside announcer, Bruce Blubber.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come for all ages to start, and it's now time to spin the Jake Asman Wheel of Champions.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac Raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
Here we go, folks. Hit the music. It's raffle time. Ladies and gentlemen, only one Asmaniac can win today, but we're all winners on the show, and you're all entered in the weekly raffle. I know it's normally Tuesday, but we only did one show. It's the holiday season, so We give people another couple of days here because I'm not doing as many shows with Christmas and everything going on. We'll likely target Football Friday for our weekly raffle, but we'll continue to do these daily giveaways. Danger Zone with a super chat. Thoughts on Bellinger to the Mets? I think it'd be a good signing for them. Now, people are asking, did this happen? I just checked, it did not. So this is not breaking news. This is just speculation, or Dane wants my opinion on it. I think the Yankees need to re-sign him, but obviously the Mets could use him too. He's a really good player. He's got Boris as his agent. He wants like a 7-year deal reportedly. I don't think anyone's going to give him that. If he's willing to come down off that, let's see. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a wheel to spin now. Good luck to everyone. The winner of a Jets Legend jersey is... How about this? It's the guy who did the film breakdown, Joe Blewett. Congrats to Joe Blewett. He's the winner, and he deserves it. I can't wait to get Joe a jersey of his choosing. That's what happens when you gift 10 memberships. The great Joe Blewett is the raffle winner. One last super chat, Reptar Mike. I told you we were tanking from week 1, and that I was out on Glenn when I met you. Yeah, Reptar, you told me they were tanking from week 1. No, they just sucked. You wanted them to tank after week 1, but I wasn't willing to give up on the Jet season at 0-1 like you were. I mean, I never wanted Glenn to be hired in the first place. That is true. I wanted someone with previous experience, but I wasn't going to sit here and say after 1 game that he couldn't be a good head coach. But I won't lie to you. What I've seen this year is alarming. I don't think he's done a good job at all. Anyone who's watched the show knows how I feel. And look, you were out on him way quicker than most. I don't know what to tell you. All right. I can't be out on a head coach who I'm trying to give a chance to after 1 game. I mean, come on. All right. Thank you, everyone who tuned in. Morning radio tomorrow, 6 a.m. It is not on YouTube, unfortunately. Holidays, no one's running the ESPN New York YouTube. So you can listen on the app, or you can, of course, listen on the radio if you're driving, 8:80 a.m. Looking forward to it. Not looking forward to my 4 o'clock wake-up call, but hey, you know, that's what it's all about. Check out the ESPN New York YouTube, though, if you want to listen to the radio show I did today with Bart Scott. I'll talk to you guys soon. Jets, 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 Jets. Let's go, baby.
Just don't let go of the rope.
Oh, hi. Jake wants me to ask you to click on the like button.
That's right, Lane. And if they don't subscribe to the Jake Asman Show, this team may never win another game. Let's go, Jets.